Hey everyone, how you doing today? I'm Kirsty and this is my December TBR. I can't believe this is the final TBR of the year, and yeah, next year TBR videos are going to be a little bit less common on my channel because I'm going to be doing a lot more mood reading, but I do have a TBR to round off the year, partly because I want to do it because I've done, I think, one most months this year, which is awesome, but also because I'm doing the Reindeer Readathon for the second year in a row, and so I want to do that. There's also been an announcement for Magical Readathon, the Aurelium by Book Roast, and all that's been announced is that there will be a mini readathon, but no other details as of yet have been released, so I can't come up with a TBR for that. But I will plan to use as many of these books on that as possible. Basically, the Reindeer Readathon takes prompts that are inspired by each of Santa's reindeer, and it was created by Break Even Books, so Eric, who is absolutely lovely. I'm really excited. I am on the same team as I was last year, which is Team Nutcracker, so I'm ready to represent and be part of the team again. Like I said, this is a readathon that is inspired by Santa's reindeer, so each prompt is linked to the name, and we're going to go through them all now. There are 9 prompts, one for each of the reindeer, and then there are 4 bonus challenges. So the 3 of the bonus challenges are linked to the main one. So one of them is to read a book that's 500 pages, and so you get that on, you don't have to read 3 more books. It's just if one of your prompts is a book over 500 pages, you also fulfill that prompt. And so for those, you've got Christmas Star, which is a book over 500 pages, Christmas Lights, which is an ebook, and Christmas Carols, which is an audiobook. And then the final bonus prompt for this readathon is called Slaying It. So if you read all of the prompts, you can then pick one to do a bonus book, and then you get like 500 points, I think it is, for your team, something. You get a massive boost. Going into the prompts of the readathon, we start with Dasher, which is to either finish a series or to finish a book that we already started in the year and then put down. And that is the route that I'm going with, and I'm going with The Darkness Outside Us because you can see I got just under halfway through this, but that was back in April or May, and I was enjoying it, so I don't know why I've not finished it. So I'm just going to go back and I'm just going to reread it to where I was and hopefully finish it this time. This is about 2 teenagers who are from opposing factions. Think of like the Cold War with the space race. And you've got these 2 countries or factions or whatever they are that have decided to team up, send these guys out in space for a rescue mission because one of them, his sister, has disappeared and he's now on a rescue mission to go and find her. But they uncover some secrets along the way and have a bit of a growing attraction towards each other. I know Eric read this and quite enjoyed it, so I'm looking forward to getting to this one. Next up we have Dancer, which is to read a book that has a cursive or flowy or just any sort of elegant font on the cover, and for this I've gone for my first of my actual seasonal reads, and I've got Meet Me in London by Georgia Tofolo. She's a clothing designer who wants to open a boutique and can't because of a new department store that's opening. He is the son of the owner of department store, and I've got a feeling it's going to be similar to You've Got Mail with Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan, I think it is. I think it's going to be a similar vibe to that, where, you know, the small business and the big conglomerate people are clashing. So it could be good. I'm looking forward to it. And this will be the official first Christmas romance that I've ever read. So I'm doubly nervous and looking forward to it. Next up we have Prancer, which is a book that has either my favourite season on the cover or has colours that are my favourite season. We all know my favourite season is autumn or fall, and Priory of the Orange Tree. It's got the golds and the yellows. Okay, the blue maybe not so much, but this is very autumnal to me. Some people think it's very summery. I think it's more autumnal personally. It just has like that darker, with the building, it just has that sort of darker aesthetic that fits better with autumn. And yeah, I have technically started it already, but I am only 14 pages out of 800 plus in. So I don't think it really counts as a not finishing it. But this one, I'm going to try and get a little bit more done in November, but the majority of this will be done in December. So yeah, sapphic fantasy with dragons, and a book that doesn't actually have a blurb anywhere on it or in it to tell me what the book is about. So I can't actually tell you because, yeah, I don't know. With Priory of the Orange Tree, that one is also the book that I've chosen for my Christmas star because it is obviously over 500 pages. Next up is Vixen, to read a book that you think might be overhyped. Now, I might get a little bit of hate for this one, and I know Eric was a bit like, oh, my heart. But Red Rising by Pierce Brown. I don't know, I'm nervous to get into this one. I have been told that this one is the weakest of the three, but I've also heard some people say that book 2 is really disappointing. And I know Book Roast, she has ended up, I don't think she's even finished the series, or if she did, she was really disappointed because she said the first book was so good and the rest of the series just didn't line up. So I've heard very 50-50 things about this. People tend to either absolutely adore it and it becomes a firm favourite, or people get very disappointed in it and don't really recommend it. And from what I can remember, you've got, is it the Reds and the Gold? Yeah, so you got the Reds, who are basically slaves and servants, and the Golds are the people who live the life of luxury. But the Reds aren't aware of this, and the main character finds out about all of the corruption and starts a rising, as it says, Red Rising. So yeah, I have heard great things about this, but I am worried that it's not going to be a good fit for me. So yeah, and this one has been on my TBR a few times, so it's about time I get to it. Next up we have Comet, which is an astronomical word in the title, so moon, star, asteroid, comet, anything like that. And I have chosen The Girl of Ink and Stars. I can't remember the author name, but I'll flash it up here for you. This is going to be my Christmas Carol prompt as well, because this is an audiobook that I've got. And it's only 4.5 hours long, so it should be nice, quick and easy. I might even be able to do that in a day. Just play a video game, put the audiobook on. And yeah, it's basically featuring a girl who, from what I understand, she finds a map that might be magical and it sets her off on an adventure. And she's very into cartography and maps, and I'm a geographer, so I'm like, ooh, cartography. So yeah, it just seems like a magical, mystical adventure around about maps, I think. Next up we have Cupid, which is a book that features one of your favourite tropes in it, and I have picked the Grumpy Sunshine trope, and for this I've chosen 12 Days of Christmas. Again, can't remember the author off the top of my head, I will flash this up. This is one that I have currently at my dad's, and I will be spending a few days around Christmas with them. So I will be reading that sort of Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, Boxing Day. And my understanding and what I remember of this book is that she's basically determined to get the grumpy guy to enjoy Christmas. So she's like the fairy godmother who's trying to turn Scrooge into, I don't know, Santa. And yeah, it just comes across as Grumpy Sunshine, and I like Grumpy Sunshine, I've discovered this year. It's cute. Next up is Donna, which is a book that I want to read, but I'm not so much of a fan of the cover. For this, I've picked Second First Impressions by Sally Thorne. This, when I first saw it and when I first put it on my TBR, it had a different cover that was actually really nice. And it was like two people sat on a bench. And it was really, really nice. This cover with the turtles, I don't get it. Like, why does it have turtles on it? It might be something that's going to be in the book, but I feel like it doesn't really give any context and it doesn't seem to fit what the blurb's about. And it's got people on the back, but they should be on the front and maybe the turtles are. It just feels like it should be the other way around. But anyway, she is a woman who is very high strung, very professional, very career driven, who runs a nursing home, He is a slacker who doesn't want to do any work, whose father owns the care home and basically says to him, right, you need to get off your ass and do something, so you're now going to work at the home under her. And they basically, she hates him at first, but then she realises that actually maybe he's not as bad as he appears. And then it's kind of one of those, he helps her to realise that there's more to life than work, and she helps him to realise that maybe he does need to be a bit more serious. And yeah, I feel like it's I wouldn't say enemies to lovers, because I feel like that gets thrown around and has lost a little bit of its meaning. But I do think it's dislike to love rather than enemies or hate. I think it's more they don't get on, and it's opposites attract, I think, with this one. Next up is Blitzen, and for this one we had to do a random number generator between 0 and 9, and then choose a book that ended with that number as a page number. So I got the number 4, and I chose The Mermaid by Christina Henry, which is a dark retelling of The Little Mermaid, and ended on page 324. So definitely fits, and I'm looking forward to getting to this. This could have also fit the one in the started and didn't finish, because I did get 30 pages in, but we'll ignore that. And then finally we have Rudolph himself, which is to start a new series. And for that I've chosen Fortuna Sworn by... the name was in my head and then it went. I'll put it here. But we have Fortuna Sworn, which again is one that's been on my TBR a few times and I've just not gotten round to. But I've heard a lot of really good things, and someone recently, I can't remember who it was, but there is someone who I saw recently describe it as being, for them, what ACOTAR should have been. And I have no interest in reading ACOTAR, so I'm like, well, if this is the book it should have been, then I will read that instead. This also fits my prompt for Christmas Lights, which is to read an ebook, because I only have a Kindle version of this. And then with Slaying It, once I've read all of the prompts, I can then choose one of them to redo. I highly doubt I'm going to get to it, but if I do that, I probably will choose like a graphic novel or something. So yeah, I will pick that at the time, and you'll see that in my December wrap-up, which will be uploaded in January. But yeah, that is my TBR for December, and like I said, there is also the Magical Readathon, mini readathon, but currently I don't know any more details on that. Let me know in the comments if you are taking part in Reindeer Readathon, what team do you belong to, and what book are you most looking forward to getting to in December. I have most of these that I'm looking forward to. What is wrong with you today? I am looking forward to most of these, but I think, I don't know, none of these are like super duper highly anticipated for me. They're all books that I just want to read. And she's on one. So yeah, I'm just looking forward to getting to all of these books and wrapping up the year, hopefully on a high note, and maybe getting a couple of 5 stars. That'd be really nice. So yeah, like I said, let me know what you're going to be getting up to in December. And yeah, I hope you're all good. I hope you're staying safe. And until tomorrow for day 2 of Bookmas. Bye.